The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests. If you're a sensitive snowflake that may get easily offended, then turn this off immediately. If you want to hear the real truth about the gun culture, then stick around. This is the Armed Citizen Podcast. What is going on, my Ghost Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast live. This is episode number 138, but the first episode in the new studio. So I'm actually able to do this from the house finally instead of at work, where it used to make for some, should we say, long nights when I'd get off, especially with the after chat. You know, we'd be on maybe for an hour or two sometimes. It'd be 11:30 sometimes before I got home. So now I'm home. And, I'm still going to work on some stuff. I'm working on some wood flag concealments. I'm going to do an American flag one and a Marine Corps one. I haven't built them yet, but I'm going to put one of them back here and one on the far other wall, the opposite wall, where I'll shoot some videos. So I'm going to do one American flag, one Marine Corps. And so out there, let me know. What do you want to see for the live chats behind us? Would you want to see the American flag or the Marine Corps flag? Or an Marine Corps flag would be a Marine Corps logo, EGA and all of that. But would you rather see that behind me or the American flag? We'll put the other one over there. But let me know out there in the chat. And, we're going to kind of do some, free for all. I've got a couple things I want to talk about, but mostly just want to have a little fun. And I've got some other links out for people that hopefully they'll join. But just kind of talk and have a good time and all that. But so like I said, this is the first show from the new studio in the house. So I'm excited about that. Can't wait. Let's see here. Texas flag, says Andrew. You know, I'm actually could do a Texas flag. I live in Arkansas, but I am a proud Texan through and through. I want to do a Texas flag somewhere or incorporate Texas somehow, some way. Not that I'm ashamed of living in Arkansas. No, I love it here. But, if you're from Texas, Texans, as Clover knows, Texans, we love being a Texan. We're fanatical about being a Texan. So speaking of which, let's bring in Clover, which, he's kind of the quasi co-host, I guess you call that, but the tactical virus himself. What up, Clove?
What's happening, man?
Chilling like a villain. It's weird. I forgot to bring I've got two Blue Yeti microphones. They're both at work. And I forgot to bring one of them home the other day. So I'm having to go with the old, kind of what you're going with. But I hope the audio sounds good. If you guys let me know out there, like I said, I'm using this headset with a microphone. I can't tell if it sounds good or not. I don't know if it sounds okay, but let me know out there if it sounds okay. But I'll have to bring that Yeti, one of the Blue Yetis out there. And
sounds fine to me. That allows you, it looks like, I don't know if it's the camera depth or what are you using for your camera there?
I did bring I brought my Logitech webcam from the office home. I did grab that.
Because it looks wider angle. It looks like you're sitting further back than you normally are.
I've got my laptop that I'm running it through over here, and I've got a big 30-inch TV that I've turned into a monitor, and it's kind of pushed back. If it was too close, it would just be too big, looking right up close to this big TV.
Oh, that's what it is.
Back a little bit. So it's kind of get a little bit wider angle. So you and I have talked about this. This is making its network debut. I've probably talked about it for a while now, and you and I have had this discussion on the phone, but I've never shown my battle rifle on camera. So I thought, well, let's go ahead and bring it out. So that is the battle rifle. And for the most part, it's based on Smith & Wesson MP Sport 2 in 223-556. And I try to keep this, as far as the furniture and stuff, pretty much identical to the other one. So I shoot that one more. I should start shooting this a bit more. But when I'm shooting and I go between rifles and all that, they feel the same. They're the same basic setup. The only difference is I've kind of upgraded some of the stuff that's on this. I can't see it right here. I can't really touch it. But on this side is a light. It's Enforce. it's enforced. And I think on my other one, it's like a Sun Optics light, kind of a cheaper light, but this is an enforced light, which I love. I've still got the angled foregrip on here. This is Magpul. I'm thinking about doing something, and I want to talk to you about this. And um, anybody else out there, let me know. I'm really thinking about for the battle rifle, go with the vertical foregrip, which I'm not a huge fan of, but for a battle, I can put it up here and still run both. But the reason why I'm not going with a vertical foregrip up here is there is a vertical foregrip that I've been very interested in for about a year or two now. And I don't know if you've seen this or not, Clove, but it's a grip that you push a button and a bipod pops out of the bottom. So you could utilize it as a bipod. Have you seen those? Do you have any experience with them? Are they worth it?
Yeah, I don't like them. The bipod, the ones I played with, and I played with two different ones. The bipod, it's all plastic junk, man. If you was to go down hard on the bipod or something like that, you're gonna break it. It's flimsy.
Yeah, and so there's one I'm looking at. It's about $75. I've found some for 15, 25, $30. This was 75, and I don't remember, maybe UTG maybe. But the not only is a foregrip metal, but the bipod metal. And I'm thinking maybe that, and the only reason why I'm thinking about that is this is a battle rifle. Now I'm not ever expecting to go through a what do you call it? A Red Dawn shit it's the fan scenario. But if I do, having that bipod option where if I'm having to, go ahead and maybe get in a sniper's hide or something and kind of lay down, I might have that bipod might come in handy. Once again, I wouldn't do that for the other one, just for the battle rifle itself. But I don't know. I've been thinking about it. The only other thing that I just got this in today and I haven't changed it out is the grip. I got this in today. It's Magpul. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Try to get the lighting on there. Anyways, it's a Magpul with the Marine Corps logo on it. It says Marines and Semper Fidelis. So that will I'm trying to get this light right here probably doesn't help, but that's going to be the only thing that I'll put this on. They'll take that grip off and throw that grip on. But other than that, that's so people have been asking since I put the battle rifle video out. People have been asking what my battle rifle is, and like I said, and the only other difference also obviously is the optic. On my normal, just kind of go to the range toy MMP, I've got a sight mark reflex that I really, really love. And if you guys are looking for a really good reflex, it's got several different reticle options, and you can get it for $80 ish, maybe plus shipping and all that. But sight mark, I really, really enjoy the sight mark reflex scope, and I've got that on the other one. But obviously on this one, I've gone with the sorry, I was glaring off the light. I guess this is the EOTech 512 holographic, and that's going to be on the battle rifle. The reason why I go with that, and I'm going to do a video actually this week and kind of break down the battle rifle and go ins and outs of all the different things on there. But the reason why I go with the holographic for my battle rifle is it's just going to be a lot more durable. It's also going to be a lot better optic to where, if the glass does happen to shatter for some reason, the holographic reticle still works without the front glass. So with a reflex or a red dot, that glass gets broken, you're screwed. It's not going to show up. But with the holographic, you can get that glass broken and it's going to show up. So that in a battle situation would be nice to have. So I thought I'd go ahead and display it a little bit since people have asked about it. And like I said, I've never shown it on camera, but that's the battle rifle. I love this thing. Like I said, it's based on an MMP Sport 2. So yeah.
What's the finish? What's the finish on it?
It's just a camo. It's just something I did. So basically, it's my own personal camo job that I did.
Okay.
I don't know. So basically, what it is I went ahead and painted it all. I used spray paint, not Duracoat, and that's not the Cerakote. This is just like that Rust-Oleum.
Yeah.
Stuff, and I went with the base layer is tan, FDE tan, whatever you want to call it, and then I took some olive green and just kind of did some random strokes with it, and then I got some brown. You can see the brown. Did some random strokes with it, and then I don't know. You guys can't see it, but it's got a really cool kind of a design in the paint job. I wish I could zoom in and show you. But it's so what I basically did is I took a what's it called? One of those old laundry net bags, like the laundry bags, but it's netted. You get it for $12, cut some off, put it on there, painted through the net, so it's kind of got that scaly kind of diamond, and all that. So that's it. But like I said, I have it, and then the Beach and Tactical sling. I've got this on 3 of my ARs. I really, really enjoy this. I also have got a couple McLean slings that I really enjoy, but I like the Beachin for the battle rifle. I can show you this because it's whatever. The Beachin has got paracord, and in a battle, just the fan red dawn scenario, having the availability to use paracord in a much needed situation. I like that because I don't have to keep it on my person. It's on my sling. The sling's going to work without that, but it does have that paracord to where you can get to it and all that. So let's run through the chat real quick before we get going. Say hello to everybody. Let's see here. G23's out there. Nighthawk's out there. Gun Loving Grandpa's out there. DTP's out there. Let's see. Rob, New York Outcast is out there. Rich White, the 1% is out there. Let's go down here. JJ, what's up, JJ? Off the X, what is going on, Lance? We're going to beat the rain. Yeah, we beat it today during the day, but it's going to come in pretty hard around 11 o'clock tonight. It's supposed to get tornado weather, a little over an inch of rain. So if you're in Arkansas, strap down. I know Hog and Buck and Lance are out there. Strap down around between 11 and midnight. It's coming.
I think shortly before sunrise. Where it's going to get bad here.
Yeah. Josan's out there. Andrew Faulkner's out there. What's going on? Mr. FNH. He says, I'm here. Southpaw's out there. What's up? Tailgate Tiger. What's up, Tailgate? Georgia Trucker's out there. Virginia Bateman says, hi, everyone. Hello, Virginia Bateman. Louis Valentin, how are you doing? This is hi from Puerto Rico. So welcome to the dark side, if you will. I don't remember seeing you, but if you're new, I've got so many new subscribers in the last few months, and hopefully maybe they're starting to find the live chat. So if you're one of my new subscribers, thank you, and hope you don't get disappointed. We like to have a good time on here, and all that. But people are saying the EGA, American flag. Looks like, I don't know yet. Joe Ziola's out there. Oh, man, I got to catch up. Gun Cleaners. Hey, what's up? So, as you guys know, if you have any questions throughout the show, tag myself or Clover, whoever else jumps in. We do have some more links out there. But you can also text to the Ghost Tactical Hotline, and we're going to start doing this and try to help our friends out, Rod and Shelly Gates, the Gun Cleaners. But I'm going to rename it the Gun Cleaners Hotline. So you can text or call if you want to call. I think, well, no, don't call, because I don't have it set up right now to where we can take calls in. I could go ahead and set it up. It'd be interesting to take a call, wouldn't it? I haven't done that before. What'd you say?
I said that could be kind of neat.
Could be. So yeah, if you want to call, we can get you on the air.
Should be a matter of pulling the interface into the mixer, right?
This did pull Google Voice and all that jazz. So I have one call, but that was an older one. Anyways, let's see here. Virginia says likes AKs. I love AKs. When it comes down to actually shooting, I love the way an AK shoots more than an AR. on the flip side, the AR is so modular. You can do so many things with it. As a platform, I like the AR, but the actual just shooting, I love the AK. I love the X39 round. So maybe that has something to do with it. Pancake Boy out there, what's up? He says, Ghost, be careful how the legs deploy. He has one that's like the Mako one that splits and extends. Works good in a solid, but switch to kind of low on the grip can deploy accidentally. Oh, okay. So I like I said, I've never used one. I might go get one just to play around with it, but that was the only thing that if I was to add something to it, I might do that just for the actual idea of having that bipod is an option. Probably wouldn't use it very often, but you never know. Thomas Reese, I'm going to say Reese. What's up, Thomas? How are you doing, my man? Welcome to the dark side. Kingpin's out there. What is up, Kingpin? Ozzy, bark, baby, bark. Let's see here. Trying to catch up, guys. I'm trying to catch up. E-Rock, what's up, E-Rock? Lance says both flags. I don't know if I can. They're about 40 inches wide and about 2 feet, whatever. I'm only going to be able to fit one back here, and I'll put the other one over there for shooting videos against that wall, but it is what it is. What's up, Chris Fulmer? What's going on? Let's see here. I'm trying to catch up. Gizzard Gary. What up, Gary? And I might have caught up. I think I did catch up. Sweet. So we're finally caught up. We just wasted the first 20 minutes of the show, more or less. But now we're going to kind of start talking. If you, like I said, if you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask them. Tag Clover myself. Text them to 530-364-4678. Or if you want to call, the hotline, the Gun Cleaners hotline is open. It'll be interesting. We've never taken a call. So if you guys want to call into the show, then we'll see how that works. Never tried it before, but if Rod and Shelly's out there, call the number below, 530-364-4678. I would love for them to be the first phone call on the Gun Cleaners hotline since they're the gun cleaners. So if you're out there, Rod or Shelly, you want to call and test this out, go for it. But so the first thing I want to talk about is we talked a little bit of guns already, kind of TV shows we've been watching. And I watched one last couple of weeks. And being a Texas kid, you'll understand, okay, we actually do have the Gun Cleaners. Let's take it.
Nice.
Rod, can you hear me?
Yeah, are you there?
Yeah, Clover, can you hear Rod?
Yeah.
Rod, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. What's going on?
Yeah. Rod, can you hear me? Yeah, there's a little bit of delay in everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's internet based and all that. But I thought, since I want to rename the hotline, the Gun Cleaners hotline, I figured it'd be cool if you guys called in. You're the first call in on the show.
Yeah, the funny thing is right when you were saying that, I was already starting to dial it.
Beautiful minds think alike,
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's pretty awesome. I was glad we got to call in first. I appreciate that.
Well,
cool.
I've recorded some commercials and all that, and I was thinking about the other day and kind of trying to promote people that I work with and are friends of mine, maybe help them out. And I don't know. I mean, you never know if it's going to help out or not. But yeah, I figured let's call this thing the Gun Cleaners hotline, and so people can now. Obviously, it works, so people can call in and all that. So. Welcome to welcome to the madness.
No, cool, man. Let's get back to your show. But hey, that's pretty awesome. You guys keep doing the good job that you are. And Clover, smile once in a while.
Yeah, Clover.
Right. No.
He said no.
Just chilling, man. Just chilling.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We miss seeing you guys. It's been basically almost a year now. So with all the craziness,
I know.
We were supposed to see each other at Wanamaker a few weeks ago, but all that craziness and all that. But hopefully we see you guys soon.
I'm hoping so too. It'll happen. We'll make it happen.
Now, if
Well,
they
you know, when
if
all
they
these-
do have the November Wanamaker, are you guys going to try to make that one instead?
Yeah, they said that we're automatically in for that one since we didn't get to go to this one. Our table was
Nice.
already paid for.
Nice. Well, worst case scenario, if we don't see you before then, we will see you at least in November. Hopefully we have it. Knock on wood.
No, I think we should try sometime before then, because all this craziness is over. Get together and have a range day. Everybody get together and do a bunch of content and have fun.
I'm in for
What do
that.
you mean? We see you guys every week.
Well, in person.
I know.
Well, you guys be
Maybe we
safe.
could-
I'm really proud of you guys. I know that you guys have been kicking it the last 6 months and got some big things happening for you guys. Thanks for always just being who you are and putting out great products. Appreciate you guys.
No, you guys, thanks for your guys' support. We love being a part of all this. So, but all right, well, you got somebody else jumping in there. We'll get off here, and I think the hotline works great.
It does.
We'll
It
keep
does.
watching.
So
Just have a good night.
thanks, Rod. See you, Shelly. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
Take care. Bye-bye. So we know that the hotline works. That was our first call into the show. So it worked. That's awesome. Snob just jumped in and the chat, he says first. But what's up, Snob? How you doing, bud?
Pretty good. What is this fancy thing? I mean, you got people calling in and stuff, all kinds of fancy stuff.
Well, it's Google Voice and it runs and it's through the mixer. So I figured people text, but I figured, people can call in if they want, and it works. Obviously, it's a little bit delayed, but it is what it is. But now what we were talking about a little bit is kind of going into like maybe shows we've been watching, have a good time. But one of them I watched about a week or two ago and loved it because it was a part of my youth, my growing up. And in 1993 was my senior year in high school. And if you guys, even if you're not from Texas, you probably knew about Waco with the Branch Davidian and the whole bullshit that went on down there. I live an hour and a half from Waco. I grew up an hour and a half from Waco, and we went down there several times trying to get down there. And they kind of cut us off at about 10 miles away from everything that was going on. But there's on Netflix, there's a 6-episode series called Waco. And what I liked about it, so I started watching what I liked about it, and it does kind of come from my eyes, and I'll let Clover and some if you've watched it too, but I know Clover just finished it a couple days ago. It does kind of come in from the Branch Davidian side, not, saying that what they were doing was all, warm and fuzzy, but for the most part, for the last 25 plus years, you've only heard the side of the media, which basically was information fed from the FBI. And this one was kind of both. You had Gary, who was the chief negotiator for the FBI. And this is from a book that he wrote, and then from some of the survivors from the Branch Davidian got together and kind of said, here's what has been told. Here's from our words and our experiences, kind of what really happened. And it's a great, I thought it was great. It was very well done. It wasn't skewed one way or the other, but it was mostly the truth of what's going on. So I didn't know. Snow, have you seen it yet?
I just finished it last night, actually. We just finished it last night.
Did you like it? Do you
I really liked it.
remember Waco?
Oh, yeah, I remember it. I remember it a lot growing up and stuff. That was a big part of growing up. That was a big deal whenever it happened in this part of the country. And then, of course, that kind of led to the Oklahoma City bombing, so everybody knew all about that.
Yeah. So, we're not condoning what the Branch Davidian, their thought process and all that, but it was very interesting to see, and you and Clover jump in because we'll just have a discussion about this. I loved it. I thought Taylor Kitsch was phenomenal, and Clover and I were talking it. And he's right. I don't know how Netflix series get voted on and all that. If this dude doesn't win some kind of an award, he played David Koresh unbelievably. He was phenomenal. But I thought it was interesting because what I liked about it was we obviously knew and remember and heard what the media was saying and the FBI spokesman and all that. And this will show, this shows from firsthand experience coming from the FBI negotiator, they would have these discussions and this would happen. And the very next day, a complete 180 description was given from the FBI spokesman to the media. Clover Snob, did any of the information that came through this episode of these series, was any of this kind of new to you? Because a lot of it was new to me. I had never heard about some of the stuff.
Oh yeah, there was quite a bit. And the one thing this series made, at least for me, made me do was, one, hate alphabet agencies. Two, hate people who blindly follow people and are willing to die for no apparent reason when they had so many chances to leave. I mean, it really wasn't skewed either way. It kind of put both of them in a bad light, I felt like. I mean, it was kind of equal, I thought. I thought it was well done. Yeah.
Clover, what about you? Was there a lot of stuff that went on that either refreshed some stuff or like, man, I didn't know that happened or anything like that? Anything caught your eye?
Thinking back on it, and I don't think so. But I mean, like you, I mean, I'm an hour and a half away from there or something like that. Yeah. And so I actually knew, and to this day know, I mean, I don't know if you still call them Branch Davidians or not, but, still know. So, I mean, I had some, long before, those books came out and other things, I had some inside track information on some different things, and that I had buddies in law enforcement also at the time that were assigned down there. So I was getting a lot of information from a lot of different places. I wasn't having to get it from the nightly news like most people. And not just back then, but as the years progressed and people started recounting, the stories and all of that as well. But, I disagree with the blindly following a little bit, because you've got to realize, I don't know that they were blindly following the dude. He called it that straight down the line. Say what you will about Koresh, but he claimed that, the armies of Babylon were coming after the righteous, the armies of Babylon being the U.S. government, and the righteous being them. And what happened? The armies of Babylon came for the righteous, brother. It's exactly what he had been preaching to those people happened. So I don't know that it was blind faith. It'd be different if events weren't unfolding that he foreseen and he'd been preaching to them for years. But, when you're in a situation and somebody is telling you this is going to happen, and then that starts to happen, and then they tell you, hey, if you don't, if you leave now, you're not going to, whatever it was, see everything through, whatever, he said to him. I don't know the theological, I don't remember, but basically not necessarily get into heaven, but you know what I'm saying, to get the prize, more or less. But so, I disagree with that a little bit. I think in the end, you're seeing through that series, and lots of spoilers and alerts tonight, people. But I think
like this is
they die.
Yeah, they die.
As far as intricacies or whatever within the series, spoiler alerts, but they're toward the end, and I think I think that's evident. This whole idea of it was a mass suicide that was absolutely asinine to begin with, because the bodies were in all different parts of the compound, so how they even began to try to fabricate and put that story out is ridiculous. So with trusting the alphabet agencies, yeah, I totally agree with that. But that speaks to the blindly following, that there was a point that had, exits not been blocked, had the structure of the building been a little more sound than it was, so forth and so on, that, I think more people would have gotten out because more people were trying to get out.
Yeah.
And I didn't even mean that blind as far as that. I mean, to me, and I don't know how well the show portrayed it. I remember hearing all about he was married and young girls and all this. But I mean, come on. The whole celibacy thing and all that, everybody but him. He's the one fathering all those children and stuff. I mean, that kind of part of it was kind of blindly following too. You just trust this guy that he should be the only one fathering all these children. I'll say it that way to keep it politically correct, in here.
Yeah, I mean, there are things that were very, very weird. That regardless of what we think of how it was handled by the government, this was a cult, if you want to call it that. And they're right. Some of the people, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. A lot of the stuff that he created so that some of this would happen. But I find it interesting, and this goes in the first episode, especially goes into the whole background of why Waco became a thing. And if we remember, the ATF slash FBI, but basically the ATF, really screwed up Ruby Ridge. Really screwed up Ruby Ridge. And this is all fact. This is fact that the U.S. government at one point was talking about defunding and breaking up the ATF into some other different things. As far as the militarized portion of the ATF, they were talking about dismantling it. And the ATF needed something to go their way. And a lot of people will say, and this is fact, that the ATF probably went into Waco. Were there reasons to? It's kind of a gray area. We'll talk about that in a second. But the ATF, I think, was looking for a way to save grace, and they came about Waco and said, "This is a no-brainer. This would be easy. We're going in. We're going to save face." And once again, they fuck it up. But the interesting thing is one of the reasons why I want to bring this up. This has to do with guns. Is the reason why the ATF was in there initially was they found out that their branch Davidians were going to gun shows and supposedly had a stockpile of weapons, which I think they did, but they were supposedly illegal weapons. But the way that this shows, and I guess I don't know if we'll ever know, I guess we could find out, but the way that this show, they said it many, many times, that they got the paperwork and the permits back from the ATF, and everything that they had was legal according to the government, of being legal. They weren't doing things illegally. They filed for the proper paperwork and received those permits and the paperwork back from the ATF. That being said, what do you guys think about the ATF making that hasty decision? And in your eyes, did they have the permits? What was legal back then? And this is what I want to bring up, Clover, and you guys, because somewhere in there, if you guys remember, they said that they were taking semi-automatic rifles and making them machine guns, but they had the proper paperwork for it and the permits that cost like $25 back in the day. Now, remember, this is also prior to the 94 assault weapons ban, but they were talking about they had permits, and maybe I misunderstood that part of the episode, but seemingly they had permits, and like Clover and I were talking on the phone, these KOs were going to gun shows. So what did someone within the branch division, did they have an FFL? How, is there a way that everything was legal? I want to get you guys' thoughts on that as well.
Well, I heard the $25 thing, and I was confused about that. I thought maybe they just put it in there wrong. But I don't know. Maybe at that time, did SOTs only add $25 onto an FFL? Maybe they had an FFL with an SOT. I don't know. Yeah,
that's what we're talking about. Is the SOT may have changed. Someone might have had one within the branch Davidians, but
I don't know. But I did hear that $25 statement about.
And I was like, well, understand that I didn't start shooting guns until '94 when I joined the Marine Corps. So I don't remember anything about 1993 and all of that, because I wasn't a part of the gun world. But I listened as the $25. I mean, the $200 tax stamp has been $200 since the 30s. So I don't know what a $25, but maybe like you said, an SOT,
or maybe they just made it up for the TV too.
It could be. Clover, what do you think? Oh, did Clover step away?
No, I'm here. I'm trying to bounce back and forth and I've been trying to do a little bit of homework into that since hearing that, because, I don't know. That's a weird thing that I don't know where that come from, but I know that there's a few times in that series that things kind of come out of left field and you're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And that's one of them. The only thing that remotely makes sense is that somebody was an FFL holder. That's the only thing that makes any sense. And that should be easy unless it's been scrubbed, that should be easy to find, you would think. But so far, and I haven't tackled it, all day, every day for the last 2 or 3 days, however long it's been since I've seen the series. But, that info's got to be out there if it's true, and it would explain a lot.
Now G23 says it's probably $2,500. No, they plainly said the $25 permit. So I don't know. Like I said, and that could have been for the show. Who knows? But
if he would have had an FFL, why didn't they just do an inspection instead of the thing? Of course, they were just screwing everything up. I mean, that was all for camera.
It was all for show.
And that's, I mean, in real life, I remember hearing that later, that it was, they did it all for show.
Yeah, it's
trying to make them look good.
It was bad. It was crazy. Remember, and this is something that maybe a lot of people didn't know. We knew growing up in Dallas, we knew all about because someone worked in Dallas. One of the guys was an attorney in Dallas. There was doctors. I mean, they would come in for 2 or 3 days during the weekend, but these people were free to go anytime they wanted to, regardless if we agree with what they were doing, the polygamy and all that stuff. Who knows? But these people were in the community, especially in Waco. They built homes. They were lawyers. They were dentists. They were all sorts of stuff. They were heavily involved in the community, and the sheriff knew them, knew all about them, were friends with them because they were, at least from appearances, they were contributing members of the community and of society. So once again, I'm not trying to take the side of the Branch Davidian. What I will say is the government once again screwed this up royally. So I'm not saying that I agree with everything that went on in the Branch Davidian, but I don't believe that it was necessary to do what the ATF and the FBI ended up doing because of the Branch Davidians and their compound and all that. So it was really, really interesting. There's always going to be suspect. The ATF said that the Branch Davidians fired first in the initial firefight between the ATF. I don't think that's right at all. I think the ATF went in there, and there are a couple of attorneys that came in and met with Koresh and the Branch Davidians, and they said that, and we'll never know because it burned to the ground. But I think that, if this was true, they said that there were no bullet holes in walls or doors that were going from the inside out. All of them were coming from the outside in. And the lawyers were convinced that if it went to trial, that they could show very easily there was no way that the Branch Davidian shot first. I don't know. We'll never know. Snob, Clover, what do you guys think about that?
No, I mean, you're never going to know. I mean, that's the bad, that was such a rickety place, and when you're dealing with a fire, and especially a fire that is, I think anyway, I mean, they're not going to admit to it, was caused by the gas. So you have an accelerant, and then on top of that, you have a rickety building and so much stuff burned up to be able to tell what was going on. From did they maybe have some type of illegal weapons to, what was going on with the bodies that they found. I mean, I don't know. When you talk about fire destroys a lot of stuff. And, as far as the bullet holes and things like that, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, not really sure what's going on out there.
It's probably crazy out there. I haven't looked much, but here's the thing that I want everybody to remember is that I'm gonna err on the side of the Davidians. Why? Because I'm like I said, I'm about an hour and a half away. I've got people that I've talked to personally that were close to everything, both in law enforcement. Part of the Davidians have done work. My grandfather had done dirt work on the compound before, and so I've got some inside knowledge. I not like I knew the dude personally. So I'm going to err, and I'm going to err on the side not because I believe that Koresh was the righteous, not that I believe that the Davidians were right, not that I believed in him taking wives at 11-year-olds or getting married at 14, and at the time in Texas with parental consent, and if the parents were part of the Davidians, then obviously they're going to give him consent, to marry or do whatever. I'm not agreeing with any of that. But yeah. The problem is, you have a law enforcement agency using military force in in a situation to where they had no jurisdiction. So, they had no jurisdiction to say that, oh, well, he's a child rapist, or he's a polygamist, or he's this or that or the other. The ATF had no jurisdiction there. It was about the illegal weapons, and they go in essentially guns a-blazing with it. And in the process, kill bunches and bunches of, wrong place, wrong time, whatever, but innocent people, and mostly children.
Mostly, yeah.
Remember, out of the 70 something or whatever that was left in the compound, half of them or so, 30 something, I believe it was children. So,
yeah, it's crazy. Thomas out there says the sheriff had confiscated their guns like a month or less before the standoff and gave them back because they were illegal.
Yep.
Yeah, that was after the shootout with the other guy, and the charges got dropped or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And once again, I am not by any means taking the side of the Branch Davidians. More what I'm doing is taking the anti-side of the government and how they handled it. And so if you want to say that I'm loosely, I don't even really defending the Davidians, I'm not. What I am saying is that once again, the government and the alphabets screwed this thing up royally. And
there were huge mistakes from the government side. And not that there weren't plenty of mistakes on the Branch Davidian side and the whole thing, but there were so many mistakes on the government side.
And Sarge is right. It would have been way easier to take him off in a traffic stop.
He said that in the movie. He's like, why are they doing that? Why are you? He told Gary that, on a call, and all that's recorded. So you got to think that all that being recorded, that's probably a matter of record somewhere. And that's probably, those conversations were probably fairly accurate. And he said, you did surveillance on me. You knew that I went into town on a regular basis. You knew that I jogged down to the end of my driveway every day. Why? Why did you come in here with my wives and children and all these innocent people, over me? Why? Yeah. You could have just drove up in an unmarked vehicle, hopped out, cut me up, and mauled me off.
Well, hell, they played music at a bar every week.
Mm-hmm.
Every week. Like, I think it was Friday or Saturday or Thursday. Yeah. It was one night, but they played at this bar. They played live music every week. And David Koresh was the lead singer of this band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every week. They knew where he was going to be one night a week, and they could have gone and gotten anything they wanted to.
Just from the tactical side point of it, if you look at it that way, they would have been much better off taking Koresh into custody and keeping him from being able to talk to the Davidians. And even if the Davidians held up in the house, they would have probably gave in and came out without Koresh in there with them. I mean, more than likely.
Now, here's a great question, and we don't know. We can only speculate and kind of what we know. But he says, why didn't he walk out?
Oh, I know.
I can tell you my opinion. I'll let Clover give his. But when he made the original deal that if they played his manifesto on national broadcast on TV and radio, that he would surrender. Well, what happened was not only did it get cut off midway, but they also started making up things about what they wanted people, the public, to believe about what was going on. At that point, I think he was like, screw this. I'm not going to get a fair shake at this. Plus, he was shot. And I think at that point, he was pissed. And I think that he was there for the long haul to prove a point. That's just me. I don't know. What do you think, Clove?
I think he was a fanatic. This is where it gets. This is where you get into. I do err on the side of the Davidians and within a certain context, but then outside of that, I don't err on the side of the Davidians. But here's the thing: the whole issue where they all died in this building has nothing to do with their idiotic fanatic beliefs and all of that side of stuff, right? It has to do with the things they were doing that provoked the ATF to come in on them. That's the issue at heart with that. So when you talk about why didn't he come out? Well, his thing was that he wanted to release this manifesto and he rushed it. And that's later on. That was another deal. If you remember, he said, I want to write down. He made a deal. He made a deal to walk out. He said, give me a week. And there was constant communication with it. And he said, I really want to get my message down completely because previously he rushed it. Well, what happened, according to his way of thinking. Okay, again, not taking up for the dude at all, but his way of thinking was this. If you'll notice in the movie, he said he squashed the deal because he said God spoke to him.
That's right.
Well, God had supposedly not spoke to him in a while. He rushes this manifesto and God speaks to him. So in his mind, whatever that is, whether he gets a dream and he interprets it a certain way, who knows in the mindset of somebody that's fanatical like that. And I know regular Bible thumping Christians that there may be even some in the chat or watching that get this way. Okay. So first of all, when we're talking about theology and beliefs and things like that, people believe real strongly about an invisible man in the sky and what he does or does not say through scripture and how scripture is interpreted. Okay. So he's fanatical. He's obviously egotistical and everything else. I mean, the dude is, he is a whack job. On top of that, he's theologically fanatical. Let's put it to you that way. So he put his manifesto out. He had a dream, whatever it was. And in his dream, God said, that manifesto ain't good enough. Okay. But then you've got to look at events that led up to this. As I said earlier, his whole preachings forever was based on the 7 seals. Right. And this is where you got to get into the Bible. You got to know theology a little bit, right? But in the end times, there'll be 7 seals that have to be opened. And he believed that the Davidians were responsible for opening the 5th seal. And he was the Lamb of God sent to lead the Davidians to do that task. Okay. And that 7th seal or the 5th seal has to do with, again, Babylon, which is the outsiders coming in on the righteous. My cam just stopped. They probably NSA'd me or something. But so up until the point that supposedly he thought God spoke to him, he had been right in his mind, in his prophecies, I guess, that he was preaching. He had been right in all of that. So then when God speaks to him, well, that just reaffirms his faith. It would be no different than what you believe and you think you've gotten a sign from God, right? Be it a dream or something happened in your life. It's the same type thing, except for this is, like I said, a fanatical situation. So it's the only difference is the way you envision your belief system in God and faith. And to get back to this whole cult issue, it addressed that in this series, and I really liked the way it addressed it in the same way it addressed the term Messiah, because they really throw that around. How he didn't claim he was the Messiah. He claimed he was a Messiah, and then he explains his position on what, how he feels through interpretation of Scripture, what a Messiah is, right?
And it was in his words and his beliefs that a Messiah is anyone or anything that brings one closer to God. And one of the they were having scripture one night, and he was going through the room and says, that tree was your Messiah. Your child was your Messiah. And because everyone has a different reason for coming to God. And now, once again, he called himself the Lamb of God. So take that for what it's worth. But the word Messiah that the media used, that he called himself the Messiah, no, he called himself the Lamb of God, but he uses the word Messiah as an object or something else that brings one closer. They did go into good detail, in my opinion, on trying to distinguish between the two. I'm not saying that he was right or wrong. Before you continue, Clover Snub, I do want to say mandatory carry out there, $2 out there. Thank you, brother. It says Clover has a face. Keep fighting.
Well, as long as the camera will keep going, we're good. It's screwed up right now again. But
before you do, I'm going to say this real quick. If you guys haven't watched DGS from last night, it's a little creepy, but there's kind of a Max Headroom kind of a feel to it. But if you've never seen G showed his face on the entire show last night on DGS through a computer cartoon Max Headroom type thing, but it looks a lot like him. So if you ever want to kind of see what G looked like, go check out last night's DGS. It was kind of creepy, kind of weird, but it was there.
It was totally creepy. The second thing that I was going to hit on was when they talked about in there about cults, right? So we're real quick to jump and call something a cult. These people are cult, or they're part of the cult. Okay, Christianity was once a cult, people.
Absolutely.
So we got to get off this crap about it's a cult. Okay, people can congregate together and believe all kind of weird, crazy things. So don't sit on your high and mighty Christian throne and start throwing rocks, calling people cult members, because at one time Christianity was a cult.
Yeah. Now there's talk about there that Koresh started the fire. I don't believe he did. I truly don't. And if half of what they showed in the last episode is halfway true, so they wanted to get them out. The FBI, the ATF, the tactical side of the FBI wanted to start forcing. They were. It's been 51 days. They're tired of this. Let's get them out of there. And so they got the okay from the government. And they went to the attorney general, which went up to the president to get CS gas. Now, if anyone's ever been around CS gas, I have. You can take one little CS gas grenade, and it is going to spread throughout a large area of room, and it's going to be enough to where, in boot camp, we got exposed to it, and we had 50 people that were crying, snot coming out. One little grenade, okay? There were drums. And when I say drums, they had a vehicle, probably looked like a 5-ton military vehicle that had at least 20 55-gallon drums of this. Now, who knows if that's true? But if you watch the episode, like I said, if half of this is true, the tanks come in and they start putting the gas inside the house. There was enough gas to probably get rid of the entire city of Waco that was being inserted into this house. They also know that at that amount of CS gas, it can become incendiary. It can light on fire. I'm not saying that he didn't do it. I'm not saying the government did, but if half of the amount of gas that it showed that the FBI put inside that house, it wouldn't take much than a cigarette or anything to just ignite instantly. And the way that thing burned, that was not something that was created by Koresh. That thing burned so hot and spread so quickly. In my eyes, I don't think that he started.
I don't think either one started it. I don't think there was anybody, whether it was a Davidian or whether it was a law enforcement agency guy that threw a Molotov cocktail or a rag on fire. I don't think nobody started. I think what happened is, and this goes a little bit into the series and then to me talking with people as well. These were law enforcement agencies, and no disrespect to of course Sarge or anybody out there that's in law enforcement, all right, but you're not military. Okay. And they were messing with military stuff. This is one of the very first times in history that you really had law enforcement agencies taking a really militaristic role. And that's part of the problem that we see in society today with law enforcement doing that kind of stuff. But they really have took on down there a militaristic role with things that they did not really know about. They weren't educated enough on. So you're right. They were pumping way too much gas in, Well, they'd cut power to the place. Well, if you cut power to these people, and he said it earlier in the thing, Gary did, he said, hey, these people are used to living with nothing. So what did they have if you cut power? They had candles. They had lanterns, right?
Those could have been burning.
So you've got a catalyst and you've got an ignition source, and there you go.
Yep. And it spread so quickly.
It's because the structure was rickety and crappy.
Yeah. It was plywood, basically.
It was literally they went into town at Home Depot and bought plywood and other things, and they literally used hammers and nails and nailed stuff together.
One of the most disturbing, and once again, we're not really kind of going out and talking about anything that isn't out there, but there are stuff in there that in the show that is new to me. One of the most disturbing scenes, and spoiler alert, sorry, but you need to watch it. It's only 6 episodes, like an hour and 15 minutes each. Phenomenally done. Great. And high winds, Nighthawks is high winds. Yeah, obviously it blows in Waco. It just blows. But one of the most disturbing sights was in the last episode, once this has started and the fire had caught. So not only are the people inside having to fight the gas, but they're also fighting smoke and all that because the fire has started. And a group of women and children went down below trying to crawl out through what they had like a school bus, but through like a basement, if you will. And they were trying to escape, but they had kind of closed that off to where they couldn't get out.
I think a tank had ran over it.
Yeah, the tank ran over.
The tank had run over. Yeah, and at the time, the tactical side of the FBI guy, and you guys are going to, when you see him, you'll know him. He's kind of an ass, but even at this point, at the end, he's like, "Holy shit! You know, this has gone too far. We've messed up or whatever." And he sees the women and children trying to escape and get out, and he tries to help. But after the tank runs over that little barrier, there was no way to get them out. And that was a disturbing because, you know, they were trying to. And I think at that point he realized, holy shit, what have we done? You know, and that was, once again, it's a phenomenal.
I was curious how true that part was. I'd just like to know.
I don't know either. It would be interesting to find out if that was true.
Because I thought that was pretty interesting part of it.
Yeah. But you know, it's one of those that, like I said, we all kind of know how it ends, unfortunately. But it was so well done. And you're bringing the government side in and the Branch Davidian side in, and you've got the head negotiator telling his side of what he had conversations with people. He got to know these people, and he flat out said the conversations that we had was not the information that was giving out to the public through the media from the FBI special agent in charge. He was given the briefings and all that. So there was a lot of stuff that was not given out properly and all that. It is just one of those, and there's no way to know what's fact, what is fiction. There's no way to know, but it was, regardless of what it was, it's a phenomenal series. And no matter what side you come down on all of this, if you have the time, it's 6 episodes. So let's say it's going to take you 8 or 9 hours total, you know, to watch this. It's unbelievable. It really is. And like I said, Taylor Kitsch, that dude should win a freaking Oscar, not because he made David Koresh seem like a likable human being. He just played the part like it gets to the point where you think that that's actually David Koresh, and it was phenomenal. Yep, Screaming Skull said the real David Thibodeau makes a cameo at the end. Yes, he does. So it is what it is. So I've got some questions that were asked, kind of moving away from Waco. We can talk about that if we want to more, but there were some questions, and JMA out there, Semper Fi, by the way, brother, asked AR pistol or 9mm carbine. And I'm going to combine the two. I'm going to say a 9mm PCC and like a 10.5-inch pistol configuration. I think that for home defense and all that stuff, I think that might be like the perfect kind of a setup. I don't know. What do you guys think? AR pistol or 9mm or PCC? Do you guys have a preference either way? When I'm AR pistol, we can talk 300 black, 223, you know, rifle caliber AR in a pistol configuration versus pistol.
Why not both?
I mean, absolutely, sure. I've got, you know, but that was the question, so I'm just repeating the question. Do you have a preference?
I love my Ruger PCC. I mean, that's absolutely my favorite long gun to just go out and just shoot just for fun. That gun is a blast just to shoot. But I also love my 300 blackout pistol. So, you know.
Here you go. I think I know where Clover's going to go on this. I think he's got several, but he's got, you know, the 300 black, I think, is one of his favorite that he's got. But I'm going to assume that you're going to go with AR pistol, but you could prove me wrong.
He's going to go with SBR.
I gotta go with a silly pistol.
Well, he's an SBR, but the length of it, he's got, you know, a length that's not a full length rifle.
Yeah. What was the question? What did he say? Because
he asked AR pistol or pistol caliber carbine.
Oh, okay. So he's talking about rifle caliber, shorter barrel, or pistol caliber in that shorter barrel. Correct. Yeah. At the end of the day, throw a rifle caliber in there, man. Come on. Raffle, RAFFLE.
Yep. Pancake Boy out there on his chat Sunday night, was great chat, by the way. Go check it out. But he was talking about he's got an AR lower and he wanted to get another upper to do something. He was thinking 300 black, and he said he's probably going to go the 300 black out for his pistol. And I don't think he can go wrong with that, especially. And for me, I don't have one. I think that I would love to get a 300 black, but from everyone that I've heard, including Clover, everyone I heard, especially if you're going to use it for a home defense, going subsonic and suppressed, people will say that the 300 blackout subsonic and suppressed is unbelievable. So we'll go. So I've got some text coming in. So I'm sorry if you guys sent a text. We went on a whole thing. This one did not leave their name, so I don't know who this was, but you'll recognize the question if you're still out there. What are your thoughts on using the magazine as a makeshift monopod for ARs? I think this is my personal opinion. I'll bring in Clover and Snob on this as well, but my first personal opinion is I know that the military these days are even kind of going to that from the prone position, is utilizing maybe that magazine as a monopod for stabilization. I will say this, unless you are on stable ground and you're putting weight on that, I personally don't like using a magazine as a monopod because I don't think it's going to be stable. I don't think it could slip on rock or gravel, or if it's muddy or whatever. Can it be useful in specific times that maybe help you? Sure, but I would not personally rely on that magazine being used for stabilization. That's just me. Snob, Clover, what are your thoughts on using a magazine as a makeshift monopod?
I mean, I've got a built-in, monopod. I just hold it and perfectly steady and don't worry about it. So there's no need. I'll pass on it.
Yeah, I hear you.
And shifting resting on a magazine, and I mean that could create shift in the magazine. That could in turn create feed issues and could have other issues with it besides, it being optimal. I mean, I guess in a pinch, I mean, if you absolutely had to because you needed some more stability, but I mean, there's not a tree branch, window ledge, car hood. You know what I mean?
I grew up, you found a tree branch or a T-post to rest your rifle on.
Yeah, it's like there's not a rock. There's not something else you could actually lay the forehand on.
Yeah, exactly.
Or your elbow, or your knee, shoot from kneeling or something.
Well, that's what I'm going to talk with the battle rifle here, is getting that vertical foregrip that has a bipod, and it might be trash, and I probably wouldn't ever use it very often, but having that vertical foregrip with the, push a button, a bipod comes down, that might be something for stabilization. I'd rather do that than relying on the magazine on unstable ground. That's just me. You do what you want to do for one shot here or there, possibly. But if you're depending upon your magazine to be a stabilizer in general, just anytime you shoot from the prone position or from a bench or whatever, that's just me. I question that.
Well, I mean, if a sling, people discount a sling so much. They see a sling and it's something that, I don't know. I mean, maybe veterans, people in the military, maybe law enforcement, people that's got a lot of experience with firearms, maybe they don't. People in the competitive world certainly don't discount a sling. But it's like let's just say the novice maybe or something, firearm owner or something like that. I think because they go into Walmart and they see the hunting section and there's a bunch of, leather and rubberized, just plain Jane slings out there. And they think that, oh, well, that's just for carrying your rifle. And that's pretty much what they're designed to do. They're designed to be padded to hang that rifle over your shoulder to trek through the mountains to hunt or something like that. Total FUD life, right? But a sling, if you get a good sling and you learn how to lock into that sling properly,
that's correct.
You don't need a monopod.
That's what I was going to say. Sitting Indian style on the ground with a good sling, you can be
or prone or really standing or any other position.
Or however, you use that and you get that wrapped and you get that tight. Yeah. That is as stable as anything you could possibly
I can lock into. I've got a competition sling, and I can lock into that competition sling And obviously from prone to standing, I get a little more movement, obviously. But I mean, it's something like prone, especially. I can lock into that sling, and I mean, everything's rested off of my elbows. And literally, the only movement I have is my pulse. I can see my pulse. That's it.
Love what Sarge says right here. He says, not having a sling for your rifle is like not having a holster for your pistol. 100% agree. They serve so many different purposes. They're not just there to put over your shoulder or anything like that. It serves so many more purposes. Like I said, for the sling, for this one, it's got paracord all over it. It's, you know, it's what it is. You could utilize that, you know, for so many different things. But yeah. So there's another one. Once again, I appreciate you guys sending text. Love it. This is the business hotline, so I don't have names and numbers programmed. I don't know who's sending if you don't put in this. So if you send a text, at least kind of give me your screen name or your name so we can, call you out. Or show, I wouldn't say call you out, but, anyways, whatever. I'm too dumb to think about it. Anyways, it says, are you guys ready to have everything opened up? As of Friday, we are opened up in Houston. Yes. I am ready. I don't think it's going to happen. Our governor comes out Wednesday to lay out his plan as far as churches, theaters, restaurants, that more high capacity type businesses. I think they're going to kind of slow. I heard what they're going to try to do is open up the restaurants, but at a percentage of the capacity. So let's say that your capacity is 200. They might let you have 50. So it's not going to be full blown. I don't know. He's going to come out Wednesday or Thursday, the 29th, and kind of lay out his plan for that. But yes, I'm ready to start things open up. What about you guys in Oklahoma and Texas? I mean, I know that in Houston, but what about where you are, Clover?
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's almost business as usual around here. Large percentage of people are wearing they're wearing their masks, and even if they're not, they're keeping distance. And most places that I've gone, I mean, or I go on a regular basis, I forgot, but somebody had asked, at one point how everything's affected me, and I'm like, you know what? It really hadn't, because I don't go out to the movie theaters much, or bowling, or even to sit down in a restaurant and eat. So my trips are to Walmart, the gun shop, the hardware stores, and those places are all open. So it hasn't really affected me much, except for seeing people wearing masks and, being a little more careful. But
now I'm a little pissed off. Oh, go ahead. I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm a little pissed off. JMA out there, once again, fellow Marine. He says, hey, y'all, love the chat, but heading out to the range, shooting 3.38 and 6.5 Creed. You're an asshole. You are an asshole. Have fun. Thanks for stopping by. Go ahead and, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I typically know, Clover, I've known you for a while now, and I could typically know when you're starting to close up a thought, but I guess I read it wrong this time.
No, I was done. That was it. Just hadn't changed much. I mean, it'll as, the Houston opening up was all part of Governor Abbott basically working on opening up everything. So,
yeah.
And the county here is not as, crazy about it as the Houston area is. So, they've got to go. They'll proceed to open things up. But I mean, like I said, there's been a lot of, what is the thing Rob has pushed? The responsible rebellion.
Rebellion, yeah.
Hashtag responsible rebellion. And honestly, in my county, there's been a lot of that going on anyway, because it's one of them things to where I totally get it. New Orleans, Los Angeles, New York City, those places where people live, eat, sleep, breathe, travel, whatever, literally on top of each other. I get it. When you get into a place like our county that's super rural, there's no reason to have those same types of restrictions. There's just not. And so, like I said, it's almost everyday life around here anyway. So as soon as he gives the go ahead, I mean, anything that was a problem before will go away.
Snob, what's going on in Oklahoma? What do you think about it?
Well, they opened our hair salons, nail salons, pet grooming, all that last Friday. This Friday, we're getting 50% occupancy at restaurants. The malls are opening back. All the stores are opening back with restrictions. I put that in air quotes, but I mean, there's actually last Saturday, I went over to look at a house on the lake about putting a door in, and there's a little restaurant out in the middle of nowhere and a little catfish place, and they said they never did quit letting people sit inside. They just said screw the government and let them set a table apart, and it's never been an issue. But I don't know. It's overblown. I mean, this whole thing started with it to slow the spread, not to stop the spread.
Correct.
And now people are throwing a fit saying, "Oh no, it's still going to spread after." Yes, it is. It definitely is. But the hospitals can handle it. That now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because remember, guys, regardless of what happens, from right now, it's going to be at least a year before, whenever they do create a vaccine, from that point on, it's going to be 9 months to a year, at least some maybe even a year and a half, say, for that vaccine to be out and all that. So it's not like this is going anywhere, but yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. That's just me.
Friday night, you know what I'm doing? I'm going and having me some real Chicago style pizza. That's my plan.
See, I'm in New York pizza. I like Chicago. If I had to choose, I like New York style better. I don't know why, but I like thin crust pizza, better than.
You can be wrong about some things too.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair. Let's see here. I got another text once again on the gun cleaners hotline, but didn't leave a name. It says, brand new to building AR rifles. I have 2 strip lowers and I'm looking for a lower parts kit. Any recommendations? I mean, go to PSA. I mean, they've got all the stuff you could possibly want. I honest to God, people know this. I've never built one. All my ARs I bought. I've never built an AR, so I couldn't help you either. But Snob, where would you send for a good lower parts kit?
I don't know. I bought them all different places. Some of my bots just been a DPMS ones from Academy. I mean, usually I put a trigger in them anyway, so yeah. Everything else is just pins and springs, and they're all about the same no matter what brand they are.
Yep.
Clover, do you have any recommendations that you would say?
Snob hit it right on the head. I mean, other than your trigger, other than your fire control group, everything else, it pretty much all comes from the same place.
Yep. So thanks for the question. I wish I knew who was out there and asked that, but it is what it is. I got one more.
I disagree with Scravis Scaloon out there. He says, so fun to build ARs. It's like building a taco. It's not nearly as delicious as a taco, though. Skull. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, God, how can you go wrong with taco of any? I mean,
Mexican food going out to sit down and eat some good Oklahoma Mexican food sounds good too.
Well, I don't know Oklahoma Mexican food, but
fake news. There's no such thing as good Mexican food in Oklahoma. Don't let Snob ruin your day. Don't even listen to him when he tells you that crap.
Let's see here. Patrick says Aero Precision lowest parts kit. Let's see. Midnight Rain says, I just built a Spikes tactical lower with a PSA kit with the EPT trigger. Super fun and not hard. Gizzard Gary says, ARs last longer than a taco, though. Well, I hope so. I hope so.
Well, I don't know that it lasts much longer than the effects of a taco. Taco
could be a life-changing experience. Yes.
Yeah.
Sarge says, can't wait to get some good North Carolina Mexican food. That just sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it?
I believe it when I experience it. I would believe that a little more than the Mexican food from Oklahoma.
I will say this.
I don't think it could be that bad.
There very well could be some decent Mexican food in Tulsa. I will say this. If you're ever in Tulsa and you're going to allow P226 nut, pick the restaurant, run for the hills.
Well, Snob's not super good.
Hey, I said I hadn't eaten there in 10 years. I said it used to be good. I even agreed with that.
Now he convinced himself.
I said that before we ate there.
But that was better than the one that Nut took us to, for sure.
It was
Couldn't
better.
have gotten worse,
it was better.
But that was at least better than the one that Nut took us to.
Yeah.
God bless.
I've never seen white rice at a Mexican food restaurant. That was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced in my life. It was literally white rice with a little cilantro on it, and they called that Mexican rice. Like, nope.
Bad.
But I can take you to a place that makes a heck of a good Monte Cristo sandwich, a lot better than Midnight's look.
That sounds good, actually.
No.
Oh, Fulmer. Okay, so Fulmer was the one that asked about the AR lower parts kit question. Like I said, this is the business number, and it just comes across as a number. So, sorry, but yeah, that was Fulmer that asked about that. Carolina, what's up, Carolina? EDC Reviews said that, I think up there earlier, he said that he had Mexican tonight. Matter of fact, see, our Mexican restaurant, and we try, at least I do. I try to go at least for lunch once or twice a week to a local restaurant that's doing to-go orders and help them out. The one that I haven't in the last 6 weeks, which I really don't know why. My wife's been cooking a lot, which is phenomenal. I love her cooking. But the one that I haven't is I haven't gone to the Mexican restaurant and at least gotten a to-go order, and I should. I should have, and I should.
Be careful what you get.
I am really, really, really craving Mexican food right now.
We did that, I don't know, a few Fridays ago. And it was the one that when we went to see Charlie, that you ate at. So, I mean, you're kind of familiar with the food there.
Mm-hmm.
And we did takeout. And I don't know that I've ever done takeout from there ever. And by the time we got it home in those styrofoam containers, and it just wasn't the same experience.
Yeah, that's my problem. We haven't been eating out because I hate to eat in the car.
And so,
yeah.
It's never good.
Yeah. What kicks you off?
You're 30 minutes away from Tulsa. So by the time you get back, it's cold,
Yeah. You got to warm it up. So, but when you do that, it's weird. You get the takeout. You're used to the experience at this place, right? And you realize how much the experience plays in, your dining experience, right? It's not that place might have the best food. It's that overall, it's pretty good food. The experience, the service is nice. The ambiance, the lighting, the seating, the whatever it is, it's the whole package. And then when you get takeout, it really kind of screws you up because you're like, maybe this place, the food is not as good as I think it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've had a lot of good Mexican food. I've had some good, that's okay Mexican food, and it just maybe tastes to me, but there is a such thing as really good Mexican food. And I know it sounds kind of crazy because Mexican food is Mexican food, but I don't know if it's the flavoring, whatever, I don't know what it is, but our local restaurant is phenomenal. But once again, when you get home, is it the same? I don't know, but I am really fiending for some Mexican food. So find out when I can go in. I like going there because they have a little mariachi band playing half the time, and
nice.
Lots of cool stuff, so I enjoy the atmosphere.
Can you request a song from them?
Yeah, sure. They don't just walk around. It's a small kind of a place, but there's a little stage, and sometimes it's the guy on an acoustic. Sometimes there's not any, and they have mariachi playing in the speakers.
I was thinking
just kind of go and request a song if they know it, to play it.
Well, it's like do some AC/DC or something in the mariachi style. That could be interesting.
Ice Baby.
There you go. Ice Baby.
Mexican rice baby.
Rice, exactly.
I don't know. God, my wife's been cooking. It's awesome. Like she made last night. She made a big old pot of chili, and we can eat on that for 2 or 3 days. And stuff like I've been doing I did some stir fry a couple nights ago. Doing a lot of Japanese stuff, and it's been wonderful, but it sounds bad. But sometimes I just do crave a greasy cheeseburger at times.
Oh,
sometimes I crave Mexican food or Italian.
And even the horrible stuff. I actually drove through McDonald's a few days ago, and
McDonald's a couple times.
That's like the worst place you could possibly eat in your life is McDonald's. But I mean, you get to crave it every now and then. You just got to go.
I believe that McDonald's French fries could be their own food group.
Yeah, and they last forever. So
Oh, see, I'm boycotting McDonald's now because now they have a limited breakfast menu, and they took my steak bagel off breakfast.
Really?
The steak bagel. That's my favorite thing at McDonald's.
I know, that's the only reason I ever go to McDonald's is for the steak bagel, but they took it off their breakfast menu temporarily because they're running a limited menu.
Okay. What's up, 223? Now, I'll tell you another great breakfast thing that you could get is that Burger King. They have a ham and cheese croissant sandwich that is pretty darn good as well.
Yeah, the croissants. I've always been a fan of the croissants from Burger King.
And
I'll tell you what's even better: the chicken minis from Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
the
yeah.
little miniature
honey. We don't have it right here. It's about an hour, so we usually get it during the day. I love it, but I've never had it breakfast there. So.
They're little miniature, the little chicken bites on a little honey roll thing. Oh my God, they're good.
Now, I'm going to have to disagree with SARS to a certain extent. He says that Wendy's fries are better than McDonald's. On the surface, and we're talking just fries, I would disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think McDonald's fries are superior to Wendy's. But if you're able to dip Wendy's fries into a chocolate frosty, now that's a whole nother level. That is just it takes every award there is.
See, I'm a fry snob. I don't like any fast food fries that I know of because they're all. I mean, I'll eat them, but they're just. I don't like fast food fries. I like fresh cut fries.
Well, Wendy's has got the little bit of skin on them. They're
but they're still
steak fry or whatever they're called. Yeah.
And I like Wendy's fries. Wendy's fries to me, I don't know. It just fits well. If you took Wendy's fries and tried to eat that with a McDonald's burger, or you took a McDonald's burger and tried to eat that with Wendy's fries, it just something wouldn't be right. So they definitely complement each other.
I mean, Freddy's has good fries. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. No, what is it, Freddy's?
I was just going to say Freddy's has good fries. I like the little shoestring fries pretty well.
Okay. I'd say what are decent fries. At Arby's has them, but at Popeyes, they have the Cajun curly fries. The Popeyes Cajun curly fries are pretty damn good. Now, Arby's has the curly fries that I've got a little kick to them, but the Popeyes curly fries are phenomenal. And I'm usually not a curly fry fan, but the Cajun seasoning probably has something to do with it. Yes, we're having every chat turns into a food chat, no matter what, especially this time of night, because I am absolutely starving.
Right.
So, my stomach is literally, I don't know if you guys can't hear it, but it's grumbling. Midnight says Arby's curly fries for the win. They're good.
Arby's curly fries, as long as you have Arby's sauce to dip them in.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's fair. Golly, I'm so hungry.
Right.
I'm so hungry.
But I am literally eating out every day next week. We're going to a sit-down restaurant every night next week. I promise you.
To make up for lost time.
Just to make up for lost time. We usually ate out like 2 or 3 times a week anyways. So.
Hey, stop. What did you use your Trump money for? We went out to eat every night for a week.
Yep. I still ain't got mine, so I'm good. I can't spend it.
I'm thinking, we've been putting off because it's so expensive. It's called the Texas de la Brazil or something anyway. And it's a place where you go in there and I think they've got a salad bar. And other than that, they've got a big plate on the table and people come around with different types of meats. And I mean, they have beef, lamb, rabbit, chicken, pork, all kinds of stuff. And they cut it off right there. In front of you at the table. You just kind of raise your hand as they're walking around and it's all you can eat. It's basically all you can eat meat in their salad if you want it. And it's super expensive. We haven't ever been, but if they're opening stuff back up, we might have to plan a trip.
I'm in.
I'm
that reminds me, is anybody out there in the chat? Is DT out there? Or somebody from Missouri? I'm wondering when Missouri's going to open their restaurants back up because I need to go to Lambert's. I've been in the mood for Lambert's too this whole time.
He was out there earlier, but I haven't seen him.
I don't know who else in here is from Missouri.
223. Whoa, we just lost Clover. He just said, "I'm out of here. Fuck you all."
He was going to go eat.
Yeah, he was. So 223 DMR says, "What rifle is that behind you guys?" Or Ghost. I've been talking about it for a while, and I have never had it on camera. And this is my battle rifle. This is the one that is definitely the battle rifle, and it's based on it's on a Smith & Wesson MP Sport 2. And like I said, I was telling them in the beginning of the show, I have it set up almost identically as far as furniture and stuff as my other MMP, but with a couple different things. You can't see it right now, but on the other one, I've got a Sun Optics light. On the other one, on this one, it's an Enforce light. Love it. Magpul angled foregrip. Magpul flip ups. Magpul adjustable stock. The main difference between this and the other one is my other one has a sight mark reflex, and this is an EOTech 512 holographic. And but yeah, and I was going to show this earlier. I did, but the only thing I haven't added onto it yet is this new pistol grip, and I got it in. It's a Magpul.
You should blow your screen up.
Well, I could. Let me go ahead and do that.
Might help.
So I don't know with the lighting and all of that.
Twist it a little more. Yeah, it's starting to come in. If you twist it to the side.
Anyways, it's the Marine Corps logo. It says Marines and Semper Fidelis. Really good feeling grip as well. But I'm going to eventually, I just got this in, eventually going to go ahead and put that on this rifle. But this is the network premiere on camera of my battle rifle. And like I said, I'm actually going to do a video on it, kind of going through different things and why I picked certain things and what I'm going to do with it. But this is not Cerakoted. It's not Duracoat. This is just, God, I think it's like that Rust-Oleum, and I don't know the brand. It might be wrong, but I think it's like the Rust-Oleum camouflage paint. But the base coat is the tan/FDE or whatever. And then I've got some olive that I just kind of gone in there, and then some brown, and just kind of try to do a little, and it's not supposed to look pretty. It's a camouflage, but it's not supposed to look awesome. And then you can't see it. I don't know. Let me blow this up again. I don't think you can. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see it, but the design on here is kind of like a little scaly looking design. And basically what I did when I did this is I took one of those old, not old, but like a laundry bag, the netting of a laundry bag, cut one of those out, kind of lay it over, do some stuff to kind of get that scaly, in the video, I'll get a close-up shot of it, and you'll be able to see a lot better. But this is the battle rifle, and I shoot this quite a bit, but it's never been on camera before. So I was telling Clover the other day I need to get just pick it up. Yeah, I'll pick it up. Sarge will do. 223 DMR is in Missouri, and it said that all the restaurants are still closed in Missouri. So May 4th is when they're thinking for that. Let's see here. Someone was up there. Mandatory carry. Ghost, would you critique a video I did on a battle rifle for us non-class 3 holders? Yeah, sure. Email me the link to the video and I'll critique it. I mean, sure. Fine. Yeah, but I don't think I'm just going to pick it up. Anyways, but yeah, this is, and I don't know if you guys can see, I did add to it the Surefire. It's got the SOCOM muzzle brake, and then this is the Surefire Warden, which is basically a blast regulator that kind of puts the gas out forward and all that. But this looks cool. I did add that. I did some shooting with this on the other MP yesterday. And then after it got done, I went on here and that's why the paint job in here looks a little bit different. Is I just did this today, so it's I don't know, it's close. It's just had some wear to it, but yeah. So that's the battle rifle. I've been talking about it for a while, and I've never had it on camera. So that's it. That's what it is. So May the 4th be with you. May the 4th has got a couple things. One, it sounds like a lot of states are looking at May the 4th, but and I don't know if they just did this. But I think it's awesome that they did. But on May 4th, the Rise of Skywalker will be up on Disney Plus on May the 4th.
Yay.
So there you go. We picked it up a couple weeks ago when it came out on Blu-ray, and I've watched it several times since then. But it will be available on Disney Plus on May the 4th be with you. So there it is. Let's see here. What, you didn't spend $1,000 for a high-speed camo job for cool print? You did it wrong. Is that right? No, it's just a basic spray can camo job that I did myself, and it probably took, I don't know, from start to finish about half an hour. And it's not supposed to look good. The interesting thing is the only thing that's black on this is the bolt carrier group there. That obviously I'm not going to spray paint that, and I don't run a dust cover on this. I probably should. I might go get like a Marine Corps dust cover, but I never really run a dust cover on this. But anyways, black is not, unless you live in the volcanoes or something, black just doesn't typically show up in nature. So if you're going to do a camouflage for shit at the fan, black is not something that you typically want to have a prevalent amount of. So
what if you have a lot of black cows in your pasture?
Well, like I said, everyone's different, and so would you do like a black and white cow print on yours? That would actually be pretty badass. Now.
Ooh, I'm gonna do one. Just give it time. I'll do that for my wife. She used to love her Holsteins, so maybe I'll make her.
There you go.
Black and white AR.
I'm just going to go off of the experience of leaning firearms against a tree and walking off and then forgetting where you put them.
Yeah.
And if I go off of that, and this may totally have to do with the area you're in or whatever, I get it. But I contend just the opposite. If you take a wood, blackened wood or just, polymer black and throw that sucker out in the woods around here, you're going to have a lot harder time finding that than you are any type of a camo or breakup pattern, because odds are that camo or breakup pattern is going to be so much different than the surrounding areas where the wood and the black is more neutral and blends in more.
It's funny. I this has probably been a month or two ago. I got an email from someone. I don't remember. If it's one of you guys out there, I apologize. It might have been one of you guys. I don't remember who it was, asking me how to do a battle-worn paint job on your rifle. People want to have that stressed out look and all that. And it sounds bad. It sounds crazy. But if you Cerakote, you can create a battle-worn look. If you Duracoat, you can create a battle-worn. You want a battle-worn look, use rattle can spray paint and just shoot your fucking rifle. Drop it a couple times on the ground, but handle it, shoot it. It's going to wear off, and that's going to naturally, just use your rifle. Ultimately, that's how you get a battle worn. Why is a battle worn the way it is? Because it gets used. What you got there, Snob?
Battle worn.
Battle worn. Now, is that Cerakoted?
Yeah, it's Cerakoted.
Yeah. Now, Snob does a phenomenal job Cerakoting. Oh, don't do that. Don't break it.
Yeah. I was trying to get this out. There we go.
If you're looking for a Cerakote or a battle-worn look that's going to last, yeah, you can Cerakote it. But if you want to truly, and this is going to sound crazy, the whole battle-worn thing came about from guys going down range overseas into taking a black rifle to the desert. So you got rattle can paint, and you sprayed that shit. And over time, when you're using your rifle, that paint's going to come off and it's going to get whatever. That's how you do it. So if you want a true battle-worn look, I'm not saying that Cerakote in a great way because it's going to look awesome. But if you truly want a battle-worn, go get some cheap spray paint, do it up like this, use the hell out of it, and it's going to naturally look battle-worn. Just saying. So we're bringing Snob in on that Cerakote. How long? I've been wanting to send a couple of guns to you, actually, a Cerakote. I don't know why I did. I probably need to bring them in November to Tulsa, see if you can do something for me. But for a rifle like this, if we want to do like this pattern, but on a rifle, what's the is the length of process to kind of do a Cerakote camo job?
Depends on how many colors it is.
So this is 3. This is tan, brown, and olive.
3's not bad. 3's about the max I like to do. Once you get
the base color,
you spray your base and then you cook it for like 15 minutes until it's tack free, and you let it cool. and then you spray your second coat. Like if you're stenciling or whatever, you put your stencils on, spray your second coat, and then bake it for like same amount of time, 15, 20 minutes till it's tack free, and then let it cool, and then do your third. You have to do it between every one. But like Obnoxious's rifle, when you got 17 different colors, it takes forever.
Yeah. Now, Rob out there says if anybody wants some worn jeans, let him know. He'll set you up pretty cheap. Let's see here. Talking about rattle can stuff. Yeah, like I said, I mean, the reason why the whole thing started is if you're downrange somewhere and you want your rifle to kind of fit into surrounding areas, you just got some spray paint. And yes, is it going to wear off? Yeah, and you can do one of two things. You can repaint it, or just let it go with that battle-worn look. So now people can pay. Well, okay, so Snob, people are out there wondering, and you don't have to give me exactly your prices, but a ballpark, a three-color Cerakote job like this, if someone's looking to do that, what does something like that cost generally?
I don't know really, because I never do really charge for it per se, because I don't do it for a living. But I know some of them are like probably a whole rifle. You're probably looking at and also on Cerakote, if you've got plastic parts have to be Cerakoted separate from.
Oh, okay.
They have to be baked at a different temperature, so that's another process altogether. So you got to go through the same process twice.
Yeah,
but you're probably looking at $300-$400 anyways.
I just went with the first base coat is tan, khaki, whatever. And I just did the whole rifle, pretty light coat, but it covered the entire rifle. And then went to olive and kind of just did some random, everywhere. And then some brown and kind of did some random. And then I came back with the tan and put that netting down over it and kind of lightly did that. And like I said, you can't see it here, but it kind of gives that texture in that kind of a three-dimensional scale, kind of look to it, which I like. But yeah, I mean, you go get 3 colors of rattle can paint, probably going to cost you $15. And the good thing about it is it going to wear off? Yep, sure is. Takes half an hour. Spray paint it if you want. If you don't like it, then you want to do different colors. Do different colors, but I like the rattle can look. I do want to get a couple handguns done in Cerakote. I've talked to Snob about that, and I would love to get him to do a couple of handguns in FDE with maybe like the Marine Corps logo or the Ghost logo on something or whatever. But anyways, but someone out there, I just saw this, and God bless you. 223 says, yeah, then you take it to Afghanistan or Iraq and it gets sandblasted. It's naturally going to get sandblasted because there are some serious storms over there. Who was it that says they just started watching Mandalorian? Oh, Andrew. Oh, you're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. I think season 2 comes out. Well, it was supposed to come out in August, and I don't know what the production is right now, if it's going to come out in August or later on. Mandalorian very well could be top 3 like series I've ever watched. It's great. Another one, if you guys like that, can I go down the rabbit hole again? Is you guys remember the movie Shooter that had Mark Wahlberg in it? There's a 3-season with like 20 episodes per season or 12 episodes. I can't remember. It's a lot of episodes. But on Netflix, I believe it's Netflix, they have a series, a TV series. And Ryan Phillippe plays Bob Lee Swagger, and phenomenal. I've watched it again during this whole time. Love it. That's a great one. But yeah, Mandalorian, phenomenal. You'll love it. Anybody else got anything? We've been going an hour, 40 minutes. You guys got anything? Are we ready to get the hell out of here? Let's, once again, thanks everybody for watching along. I'm going to let these guys go through. Snob, we'll let you go first. And you got anything that you want to plug? What are kind of the projects you're working on? All that jazz.
No, I've been busy and lazy lately, so I haven't got anything going. I got this whole gun I need to do, but it ain't done yet, so I don't know. I've been really busy. And wanting to go eat.
Oh, no kidding, right? Now, this is something that I didn't even think about. I might try that, but DMR 223 out there says if you rattle can your rifle, take some flat gloss clear coat and it'll last longer. I never thought about that, but I might.
I don't know about a gloss, maybe a satin or a matte, but I don't know about a gloss.
He said flat gloss. Maybe he just meant flat. Clear.
Flat clear. Yeah. Someone just sent me a text that said first rattle can paint job, and this I'm gonna turn this around. I can't screen share it, obviously from my phone. Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, too much light.
It's too bright, but this is a pretty nice. Looks.
Oh yeah, I think Sarge cleared his one rifle he camoed and then had to sand it all off, and he went with the flat. It was still too shiny, even with just the flat.
Yeah, I'm just gonna probably keep. Like I said, I don't mind if it comes off. It doesn't bother me if it comes off. Worst case scenario, I just repaint it. No big deal. But yeah, it's not there to look pretty. It's there for a specific reason and all that jazz. So if you remember, Snob, do you know what the next episode of This Old Gun's going to be?
Yeah, it's going to be a little Colt Challenger.
Okay.
Basically a mini woodsman. Cheaper woodsman.
Carolina said that was his. Look at AR-10. Let me know what that was. It looks like an AR-10. It doesn't look like a bolt action. Anyways, so well, Colt, nice. You gonna do a show this week at all?
I doubt it. You're gonna be eating out. What are you talking about?
You're gonna be eating the whole
I had to
time.
make up for all these sitting at home too long.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, he said that's an AR-10. Clover, what about you? I know that you've got some stuff going over on Gun Streamer Only. You still doing that series over there, or
I've got to get back? Snob, he stole my idea and ran with it. So made me mad, so I quit doing it for a little while. No, I just
totally stole my idea, even though
he does them better than you.
I've been working. Well, he says that, but mine came out first, so yeah,
you're not wrong there.
I planted the flag first, so sorry. I mean, it's just the way it is. Now I've been working on other things. I haven't given up on it, but I'll do some more eventually. They're not that difficult to do. I don't know. I mean, other things going on. I mean, I dropped the Fiocchi video. I'd never had very much experience before with the 22 long rifle line from Fiocchi, and so they sent me pretty much their line. I think there was a couple of different flavors missing that they're not producing right now or something, I guess. But yeah, the accuracy test video dropped. Or one of them anyway, and put it out that because I got a weird comment. It's like, oh, I hate this video. How could you do an accuracy test video without running everything through a chronograph?
I did see that. I saw that.
Really? You must not understand accuracy because
this is a terrible test.
If
thanks for the engagement.
If everything is consistent, then it's going to be accurate. The groups are going to be, yeah. What's the velocity have anything to do with it? But whatever. It's what it is. The other thing is when people comment stuff like that, like that's the only video you've ever put out, and I love it when they comment on stuff like that, and they go, "Well, you didn't do this or you didn't do that," and you're like, "But I have other videos on the channel where I have." Did you bother to maybe look at some of the other stuff? No? Okay. Thanks. Appreciate the engagement.
That was me that made that. That's my alternate account.
Was it?
No.
Oh well.
No, I did put a comment. I did put a comment on there, and I know I noticed that you replied. I haven't looked at it because it was right before I went on, but just in generalities, do you? And this is for some. I've only got 122 LR, and it's that P90 clone or whatever. But in generalities, do you like supersonic or high velocity, or do you like subsonic 22 LR better?
The lower the better. Usually
Okay.
for me, I come from that precision background, and lower is typically more consistent, which means it's more accurate. But in certain situations, you just got to deal with it. You got to trade off, like say a hunting situation, right? I mean, you've got to have that velocity to get some expansion and some other stuff. So we start getting into some hunting situations. Yeah, you need supersonic or even hypersonic sometimes. But if I'm shooting purely something for precision, I mean, I really want to put them in the same hole and wear out a target. It's going to be subsonic.
Nice. I know that Snob said he had to step away for a second. I think he's back. Well, before we kind of get out of here, we want to kind of just thank everybody for coming live. If you're watching in replay or listening to it in podcast, I hope we didn't bore the hell out of you. If you haven't checked it out, go see Waco. It's a well done. Not going to say that go into it with an open mind maybe and just enjoy it for what it is. Shooter's another good one. Mandalorian. I mean, if you have Disney Plus, then you've had no problems getting through this pandemic. There's so much stuff on Disney Plus. I mean, you've got, just everything that they've ever done.
All the Marvel and basically all of the Star Wars is there. So yeah,
all the Pixar stuff as well. I mean, it's
but none of them are as good as Tiger King.
I watched the first episode of that yesterday.
What do you think?
I probably won't watch another episode.
You've got to watch 2. You've got to give it 2.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah. If you get through the second one, chances are you won't want to turn it off. I'm just saying, if you get through the second one, I get it. It's a weird show, but it's great. Did you guys, I'm sure you have, Snob, did you see that Joe McHale's kind of after show that he did a week or so ago?
No, I haven't actually.
I just watched it yesterday, and he does a good job. I like Joe McHale. I think he does. He's always done.
I've been thinking
stuff.
I would. I just haven't done it.
It's interesting. It's very, very interesting to a T. He asks kind of 2 or 3 different questions to everybody that he has on, and to a T, when he asks a question like, does he belong in jail? Everybody, yep. I mean, we're talking about the people that lived with him, that were close with him. They all said, "Oh yeah, he deserves it." It's interesting, but it's what it is. But Tiger King, you gotta love it. Either love it or you hate it. One of the two. There's really kind of no middle. Either you finish it in one sitting or you just turn it off. That's kind of how it goes. Let's see here. Gun Loving Grandpa Buck says, great show. Appreciate you. Nighthawks is another great show. A couple Arkansans there. The Arkansas like me. That's good. 223 DMR says, mine's not shiny. If there was a way I could show it to you, I would, but mine don't shine at all. The base coat is khaki and I got dark brown and OD green. Yeah, I mean, so same colors that I did. He's a sponge to put mine on. So I don't know. Triple S out there says, great show. Take care. Stay frosty. Tiger King equals pure insanity by Sarge. It is the greatest train wreck you could ever watch in person. It is truly the greatest train wreck ever. So it is what it is. But once again, thanks guys for always watching and all that. We had a good time. Go check out some of the shows. If you're out there in the comments, if you have a battle rifle, send me a picture of it, email it to me, text it to me, or let me know what it is. More importantly, let me know in the comments below, do you prefer a Duracoat, a Cerakote, or a rattle can paint job on custom paint jobs? So it is what it is. Thank you so much for always watching. We love you. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next week. Semper Fi.